Ugh, that's awkward. I like hit the record button and immediately needed to burp. How are you guys doing today? So we're taking a hard detour today. I wanted to do more QR factorization stuff, but I have more pressing work that I need to do. There has been something I've been trying to work on, and honestly, what I'm trying to do with this channel is part of that. Um, and I need to dedicate like the coming week to it at least, so that it can become somewhat automatic in terms of moving forward, and probably longer. So I'm gonna dip in one of these videos every once in a while in terms of learning some new tooling or something like that. Um, the project I was gonna work on, like essentially, I just wanted to start working on it in a like I did a crappy POC thing, but like, and I was gonna start exploring uh s- something in particular, and I was gonna do it like manually. Well, it wasn't okay. I wasn't exploring. There was a technical. I'm trying to be vague. Maybe I shouldn't be vague. It's and yeah, actually, what's the point of being vague? Um, there is essentially a large set of documents that are PDFs, and each PDF, not all of them, but many of them are just like scanned from like a phone camera, essentially. So they're essentially images with some processing applied onto them. That I want to extract the data from it using an LLM. So I was gonna start like I was just gonna do it manually because I have a few different types of documents. Okay, I'm just gonna manually like parse it. But part of the app, part of the thing that I'm trying to build would essentially automatically detect the type of document. So I was like, okay, I have like these several hundred documents basically. I'm like, okay, let me actually build this up as an ingestion feature. Like, okay, I have received a document, right? And let's just try and do it production quality so that even though right now I'm essentially doing an ad hoc task, get like at least 50, I would prefer 70 to 80% of the way towards production quality thing that I can easily plug and play into an actual pipeline uh that would be a part of this whole thing later on. And oh man, it was a bit of a journey because initially I was like, wait, this needs to be done somewhat agentically, and then I was like, okay, also along with that, I probably need to do an MCP server thing because there's going to be potentially other tool calls. Then I was like, okay, I just like kept going down this rabbit hole, and then I ended with UV, right? I need to figure out UV because essentially, like, it is essentially moving Python's package management system to something that's more high confidence, because it really makes it very difficult for you to have very complex Python scripts or Python code deployed for this reason, because it's just package management, dependency management is just hell, generally speaking, right? And even if it is fine, like it'll happen to me as well, like once in a while, especially with deep learning libraries where the installs are just broken or whatever, even though it just did the regular pip install thing, right? So UV is supposed to be better about that, and it's like full end to end. It like creates your PyProject TOML and things like that. So it's essential. Let me go through. I have the blog post somewhere over here. It's really neat. I'm just gonna talk about this for a little while and call that the video today. Stalling. I had a particular. Also, this is super cool. Yak.io. I think it's Yak. Oh, sorry, it's Yak app. So I was essentially looking for like a postman. Um, what you call it? A postman Sorry about that, guys. Got distracted for a moment. So as I was saying, like, there's this cool Postman alternative. I was kind of looking for a way to just explore APIs like easily, and like I used to use that for Postman. Postman always had that like sign up for an account and this and that, and it just always got irritating, and it just felt like unintuitive for me. And so I just like went on a rabbit hole and I found Yak, which was created by the creator of Insomnia, which is another API client that was like had the same idea as Yak, was supposed to be like super simple and straightforward. We got some screenshots here somewhere. Yeah, I think it's here. Yeah. Oh wait, no. This is a blog post. It's super cool, actually. Oh, it's right here. I'm like screwed. It's like literally right in front of me. So I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, um, let me see if I can find the. Oh, I think this is it. UV Python packaging in Rust, Feb 2024. So essentially, it's like trying to bring together a lot of different things. It's like pip tools, setup tools, poetry, VNV, like just trying to bring together all of these things into a cohesive uh project. Um, See, it says right here bundling not only pip tools, virtual environment, pipx, talks, poetry, py, rough. I don't even know what talks is, to be honest. So, and this is interesting. So Python tooling can be a low confidence experience, a significant amount of work to stand up um, a new or existing project, and commands fail in confusing ways. Um, Anyways, so I decided, and it makes sense because, like, and to be fair, I might be biased and wrong about this, and maybe I should just keep it simple and stick to pip. But I'm gonna try this out for a little bit, unless it's like a significant roadblock. But so far, it seems actually pretty nice. Just need to learn like some of the basic commands. I think like I did try to read the the man pages. I think I have them pulled up here somewhere. I had to like read a couple of different of their man pages, which by the way I totally recommend. Like if you're ever installing like a CLI tool or something, just man and then whatever the command is. Or in many of these cases, if you just put in the command and then space dash H, that'll also pull up like the manual of how to use the command, how to use the CLI tool. Um, and it's incredibly deep. What I got stuck at, what I was trying to figure out, right, before I stopped working for the day. And it's so weird. It was such a meandering day. I also got caught up because like my niece and nephew are here, so they took up my time, and yeah, lots of stuff. So, anyways, so I did the same thing I did with the linear algebra stuff, and I was like, give me some coding exercises, right? Except this was way easier. I was just like taking my time with each. So UV init is nice. It kind of sticks up your main PI, your Pi project, your everything. Another thing that's neat about UV is this was something that was unique to Anaconda only before, but you can have separate Python installations, and it like works for each one. Uh, like it manages each one separately, and you can pin each project to a separate Python version. It's pretty awesome. And also when you do dependency resolutions, you can set it to the lowest resolution or the minimal resolution. So if it's like say Flask greater than 2.00, the general dependency resolution rule is to go for the most updated one that fits with all the other dependencies as well. Um, but you can also just check the lowest version of the dependencies for all of them, which is nice. And so when you do this UV init hello, it essentially creates all of this here for you. Um, it creates a git ignore with all your standard git stuff. You know, all of this is stuff that you do want to actually git ignore. It's got the Python version, PyProject toml with like all your metadata and also your high level dependencies and a log file. So key distinction, and this is I think more a general distinction in package managers versus this thing versus um versus, not versus, but like package managers versus other things like npm, which are also package managers for other what's what I'm looking for, languages and stuff. uh Pi project and uv log, it are both, they're like the log file and the requirements file essentially, and the difference is pi project HOML will like capture your high level dependencies, could also and then your uv log captures everything including all transitive dependencies, aka the dependencies of your dependencies, to create an exact like bit for bit recreation of your current environment, right? And then that also breaks down into universal resolution and uh a local resolution. I don't understand how that works per se, but it's capable of doing that. And when you type UV in it, it's just boom. It's just like npm in it. It's like it just gives you, the super basic boilerplate of like, honestly, this is, I think, mostly true of anything, like any Python script, even if it's like a basic cron script that needs to be like containerized and just run on a schedule. Even in that case, I would suggest like this is definitely the way to go, right? And so that gave me a lot of hope that I'm like, okay, I should definitely stick with UV. Um, UV run MayPy, I just kind of tested it out. UVX is interesting, so you can do like a one-off tool call if you ever need it, which is nice, and it does it in an isolated environment that doesn't affect your current environment, which is really neat. And also I learned about PyCow say. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Um, yeah, as you can see, I went through a lot of commands. Yeah. But she's saying numbers and tricks. So that's what the pie cow say thing does. It's kind of funny actually. So yeah, so UVX spins up its own like environment, and it has like a one-off environment. UV add request switch, UV run main pie, UV remove request, UV run main pie. So this one was like I did it. I even actually got it to generate some sample code so I could just like make sure it was happening, even though like like conceptually it was too simple, but like I just tried it out anyways, and I had this small little thing that I got ChatGPT itself to generate to test it. And yeah, basically UV add and uh, UV remove are essentially like adding and removing the package. But the neat thing about UV add, UV remove versus pip install is the dependency, like the resolution. Sorry, is like not the resolution, is the recording. So it's immediately whenever you install it, immediately updates PyProject TOML, and at the same time, it also immediately updates the UV lock. So like everything gets updated right away, and it's super fast. So which is nice, you know. Um, let's see. Here is just we created a fake requirements txt file. And this is where I got caught up. So if I do UV add r requirements.txt, it already updates the PyProject TOML file and the other one. So generate a frozen requirements.txt doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would I need to do that? That's the UV lock is already updated. So I was trying to understand why you do UV pip compile after add from requirements. Let's try and ask ChatGPT itself. Who knows? Did I already ask this question? Oh no, it's the last. Why do I run pip compile after add adding already updates uv.lock? Actually, let me just remove this and relock everything into UV-lock. But UV serves a different, it generates a pip style requirements file example and you require from your lock dependencies so that Oh, wait. Okay, so let's do this. UV pip compile. So that means, oops, accidentally clicked the settings button. Nope, not that. I'm trying to click on the terminal. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. How does UV detect active project? So I have a feeling one of the issues is yeah, because initially I installed from Homebrew, then uninstalled and got the self-managed installer because I didn't want to have UV be dependent on another installer. That's just like a cyclical thing. I didn't want to deal with it. So I removed it from there and somehow that fucked it up. I don't know. Or maybe, hold on. Let's just do UV pip compile dash H. Okay. So, okay. So that means UV pip compile requirements. Hmm. Let's maximize this. Okay. So dash O project pommel, because I just want to see it. Dash F. Is it dash F or dash dash format? It's dash dash format. Dash dash format. Um, what was it? It was requirements.txt or pylock format pylock.toml. Pylock. You know, let's just read UV compile. See, this is something I don't like about CLI tools. UV pip compile. Let's go docs. Uh, by default, UV pip compile. It's just displayed. Oh, so I can have multiple. Hey, UV also. Oh, this is nice. So they do legacy support. This is really an all-in-one, one-stop solution, eh? Oh, okay. That's funny. Okay. Project compile. Okay, so ChatGPT steered us wrong, which makes sense actually, because when I did the search, if I go up here, initially it didn't even know what I was talking about, and then if you go into the stop for 44 seconds, it does like a shit ton of Googling basically. So it makes sense that this just fucked it up. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna ashrorec.txt. We'll just have another one. Boom, boom. Both having the same thing, same features. No problem. Let's look up the help file for UV pip sync. UV pip sync dash H. Getting requirements. Let me just look up the docs. UV pip sync dash H. Oops. UV pip sync docs. Should do that. In the current project to use. I don't know what they mean by scripts. So I think it just syncs with the. All right, we're going into locks and stuff like that, but I think my initial major malfunction I have cleared because I wasn't confused what requirements.in files were, but I think I get it now. Essentially, when you do UV add R requirements.txt and pip compile is just a completely different process. It's essentially taking in a high level requirements file and then creating a more granular requirements file or PyProject YAML, whichever one you want, from the compiled requirements.txt to create like a more detailed thing with all the transitive dependencies and such. And pip sync, as far as I understand it, essentially just updates the virtual environment. Let's just run it really quickly. I bet from the output, be able to tell. I'll see if verbose works. So, I think I have to put it before. UV pip sync options. That should be. Still need to. I wonder if I just do this. No, it just brings that up again. Let's go with UV dot lock. UV bit sync. Just read it over here. Installing with UV pip install packages that are already installed will not be removed unless they conflict with the lock file. This means that the environment should ensure the environment exactly matches lock file. Use UV pip sync instead. UV pip sync. Yeah, what is this? Blinker is removed, but it's not updated in the lock file. You know what? This is a little bit confusing. I need to come back to this to understand it a bit better. Oh well, I think that's enough for today. That's long enough time. Here's my video on radioactive snakes. Have a great one, everyone. Bye bye.